Hey everyone, and welcome back to Luxury Now. Let me ask you a question. When I say Jeff Bezos, what comes on your mind? Amazon? Maybe. The richest man on earth? Definitely yes. Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and many others whose names is enough to know that they are billionaires. This doesn't go for this list. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out about 5 richest people you probably never heard of. Number 5, Azim Premji, 6.6 billion. Azim here has a very inspirational story. Born and raised in India, he was one of those Indian geniuses who had the chance to study abroad. He went to Stratford University, studied electrical engineering. Meanwhile, his father was a dedicated man who had a business called Western Indian Vegetables Products. Don't hold tight to the name as it didn't last very long. After his father's death in 1966, Azim took it on his shoulders to keep what his father built. And at exactly this point, his talent started to glow. By the time he took over, the business was already selling other stuff besides vegetables, such as soaps. Not only did he make the sales booming, but he also expanded the business to include IT and computing. By then, the name was not suitable anymore, and then came the name Wipro, as we know it now, one of the biggest companies in India. And with all his achievements, he never stopped supporting the poor. His donations to charities and contributions to society are hard to miss. Even in the late crisis of the COVID-19, he was there supporting families and even countries with $134 million in donations. Number 4, Charlie Ergen, 9.2 billion. Like many other billionaires, they all started small and simple. Charlie was dedicated to his ideas, and since he was young, he went after his dreams. Started with driving across Colorado, selling satellite dishes from his truck with his wife and best friend. The idea went big and he received about $335 million in investments, so he started his own company called Dish. From this point, the road to $1 billion was easy for him. Although the story seems very inspirational, it wasn't that easy for Charlie. He preferred a simple life with an ordinary breakfast. But throughout the dawns in his life, such as his mother's depression, he became a playboy billionaire. Now he lives with his children in the state where he was born and started his business, Colorado. Number 3, Reinhold Wirth, 19.9 billion. Although this man's fortune is nothing near small, he took a long way to make it. Just like his predecessor on the list, he inherited his father's small business when he was just 19 years old. Reinhold took over the business to ultimately shape as one of the most successful businesses out there. From assembling and fascinating materials to engineering trades, the business became huge, including 400 different companies worldwide. If that wasn't worth his fortune, then what would be? It is also clear how Mr. Wirth enjoyed spending his money on one of the biggest yachts out there with a price tag of $150 million. Spots in various places, art museums, and even on private jets. It doesn't even end there. Where would he park his fancy jets? Guess what? He has his own airport called Adolf Wirth Airport since 2004. Number 2, Armancio Ortega, 63.8 billion. From 19.9 billion to almost 64 billion. Compared to the rest of the list, there's a huge jump. As for unknown number 2, he has a very unique story. After he dropped from school at the age of 14, he worked as a shop hand, and because billionaires are billionaires, they don't just get satisfied with ordinary jobs. He learned how to sew his own clothes to finally have his own company, Zara. Have you ever heard the story of the billionaire who wears the same shirt from Zara? That's him. Not only does he do that, but the man is also very humble that he goes to work and eats in the cafeteria with his employees. Instead of a luxurious life, Ortega chooses private life over the spotlight. In spite of that, he still owns a number of very fancy buildings in different areas. Add to that, his way is clearly effective. Zara has more than 6,500 shops in 88 different countries. So, education is not a definite scale after all, is it? Number 1, Mukesh Ambani, 77.4 billion. Speaking of unique stories, this man has an incredible one. A man who was born and raised in Yemen, he lived there until his family decided to move to India to start their own spice trades. After he had a chemical engineering degree, Mukesh was supposed to go to Stratford. But due to his family's business success, they decided to send him home to help grow the business there, to end up forming what is now known as Reliance Industries Limited. It is not about textiles and spices anymore. They went after petrochemicals. Mukesh was very ambitious, that he built the world's grassroots petroleum refinery. Do you think a man like this would stop there? The cooperation between him and his parents, aka Reliance, expanded to invade the cell phone network of India and create their own cell phone network company. With all this success and fame, you should expect something insane by now. Yes, he did that too. He built the world's most expensive house of $2 billion. In addition to that, he built a lot of other places and buildings in India that is awesome and expensive. Now that you know, and between luxury life and living in the shadows, they all share the same thing that distinguishes any successful person: pursuing ambition. It doesn't matter if you were educated, had little money, or went through tough situations. You can always go back and make and achieve your goals. And hopefully, when we make this list again, we include you. But until that happens, let us know what you think about this episode. Leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell to always catch up with the new fresh videos we make.